Oh.
Kai?
Kai, yeah.
Jackie?
Oh, Jackie. Hi, Jackie. We're just discussing a picture we've just seen of your son. Okay, so popping online to answer a couple of questions on a Tuesday, as we normally do. I have a cat just on me there. And I also have my daughter here in bed with me because we have a rule in our house.
If Dad's at your booze, you lose.
You booze, you lose. So Dad is out with work, boozing. I think he's on his way back, actually. I've just seen his Uber ride be shared to me. But he's boozed, so he's loosed, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So does anyone have any questions they want to ask? I'm going to answer a couple of questions. I'm on a bit later than normal, but we've had a kind of a busy night, haven't we?
Yeah.
I'm just going to go on now and
I just kept doing the same piece of homework, but it kept going wrong. So.
Yeah, so we spent a while, haven't
Look at the cat. Let me just turn your phone around.
Hiya, pussycat.
Tink. Hello.
So, there are 11 of you online.
15.
Say hello. 15 of you. Say hello. Feel free to share. If you don't have any questions someone else might have. Hi, Lee. And yeah, I just want to know if you've got any questions whatsoever. Let's have a look. Share to a page. I don't know.
It wasn't facing you. If you can hear the cat purring, it's just
Hi, Charlie.
the cat.
Okay, so I have just shared it. We'll see if we get any questions. So I'd love to know if you've got any questions. I'm here to answer a couple of questions, which I always do on a Tuesday, just not always quite as late as this. What are you doing, pussycat? So yeah, I'll just wait and see if anyone's got anything they want to ask. Watch out, darling. A few people have asked me in the last couple of days when my book will be going out because they've pre-ordered. I was hoping it would be out already by now, but it isn't. I will be emailing anyone. I've just put a link in the comments if anybody hasn't purchased and wants to. But what I will be doing is emailing everybody that has pre-ordered very soon, because I will be also doing you a bonus training that goes with the book, because I want to really give you the best chance of understanding this stuff, because I know that it will be life-changing for you. My anxiety, and some people are showing their true colours with me. How do I push this aside from my life and cope with my anxiety? The way that we cope with anxiety is not to be seeing it as, and this is really what I'm hoping with this book, to be honest, because, and that's why it's called Anxiety is an F, or is it? Because I want you to realise that it's not something that the minute we say we have to cope with it, it implies that it's really, really awful. Now, I get that it feels awful and that experience in that moment is really not pleasant, but it is created via our thinking. It is us that's creating it by overthinking all of the details and all of the, every little thing, all of the future thinking. What if this happens? What if that happens? Now, if people are showing their true colours, which meaning you're not happy with how they are around you, then the thing is you can't change other people. And a lot of us spend a lot of time in our lives trying to change change other people, trying to anticipate what they'll say, what they'll do. How can we change them? And we can't. So the best thing to do is to realise that you can't control other people. We can't even control our own thoughts. So we definitely can't control other people's. And so the more thought we give them, and the more we focus on why are they the way they are, what are they doing that for, why to me, and when are they going to stop, and this isn't fair, and I don't want to put up with this. All of that thought is creating feelings. So in a way, you're giving them more value, more airtime by considering what it is that they're doing and why, when you can't change it. And all the considering of that in the world isn't going to change it. The minute you start to worry about other people or start to really focus on what it is that they're doing, then you are chipping away at your own value and self-worth, and you're negotiating it, because you're kind of allowing them a say somehow, and you don't need to do that. So, Cindy, is it recommended to push myself, i.e. travel? Sadly, I keep avoiding it. Okay, Cindy, I'm going to answer, because you're in the private group, I'm going to answer that in much more detail for you on Thursday's call. Would you do me a huge favour and just put that on the post in our group, because this is on the main page? Will you just put that in the post in the main group, because I can talk about that in quite a lot of detail and coach you through it through the group if you like, my lovely. So post that comment for me, Cindy, in our private group, and tell me when the next time you have travel coming up that you'd like to say yes to, but you feel like you want to say no, and let's work on it. And then Lee, you've just said, oh yeah, so I've got your question there, Lee. So, and then do you ever get comfortable with the symptoms? Well, I am, Cindy, now. So I suppose I can only answer from my perspective, which is, yeah, you do. Comfortable. Do I like them? Not necessarily. Am I really uncomfortable with them? No. So I wouldn't say you necessarily switch from feeling uncomfortable to comfortable, but the discomfort is nowhere near at the level that it was. Because I suppose the big discomfort for me in any sort of feelings and symptoms of anxiety was the uncertainty, was the unknown, was the fear of would it ever end? What if it came back? And I don't fear any of that stuff now, because I know that I will at some point again in my life have feelings of anxiety, because I will have anxious thinking. I don't fear it coming, because I don't believe that when it comes, it's not like this big thing that happens to me that I can't get rid of and is going to take over my life. So that's what's different. So if I wake up and feeling a bit anxious, or I have something happen where I massively overthink it and I start to feel anxious, I wouldn't say, oh, I'm really comfortable with this, because it's not always that pleasant, but I'm certainly not really uncomfortable with it. So it doesn't sound like a cop-out, but it's not one or the other, if that makes sense. But it definitely gets a lot easier. And again, Cindy, as you're in the private group, then, and that is something that you will see even in, you'll see in the group, if you scroll back to previous, a good while ago in that group, there's people who were unable to do all sorts of things, who were just getting on and doing. Oh my God, Maya, the size of that spider down there.
Oh my God, I don't even want to see it.
It's under the bed. Oh no, there's a humongous spider under the bed. Pussycat, you need to go and get something to eat.
Oh my God, I can't. Oh, it might be crawling up onto our cover.
We'll have to find it in a minute. Oh, for flip's sake. Right. So, anyone else?
Get it now. I'll speak to you.
No, you have to do it.
No,
I'll do it. You'll have to wait. It's on the floor, darling. Okay, so aren't spiders getting bigger these days? They're getting huge. Lee, this is the whole thing. You can't control toxic people. You cannot control anybody else. You cannot control anybody else. When you say, what if it's constant, it never goes away, do you mean the feelings of anxiety, Jolene? Is that what you mean? If you do, what I will say is this. That statement is kind of impossible. It does go away. Even if it's for a minute or 30 seconds. But if you have a day where you might feel panicked on numerous occasions throughout that day, you may feel really pretty anxious overall for the majority of the day. But I know that, because I know how human nature works, I know that there will be some moments in that day where your mind has settled and your thinking has fell away. But you won't remember that, because, oh my God, there it is, mate. It's round there. She's round there. Sorry.
Where?
It's gone round the side there.
No,
Put the cat down. You'll have to wait, May. I can't. The cat will get
Mum,
it.
No.
Right.
No,
Shush.
no,
Fine.
no,
Leave it then. Sorry, I
no.
shouldn't have mentioned it.
Just.
So, no, Maya. So,
Where is it?
So there will be times, it's round there, darling. So there will be times that that your mind has settled, but it's very easy for us to think, oh, it's been constant, but it won't be settled. But what happens if it continues day after day after day? It means that you're in a habitual cycle of overthinking.
It's massive.
Right, Maya, darling, just swallow.
Sorry.
Of overthinking. She's trying to get the cat to eat it. Oh my
Cat
word.
is eating it right now. This one of me. Cat, get it, cat.
Spider
The
again.
cat's got it. The cat is getting it. The cat, go on, cat.
Right, shush. Natural life cycle.
No, it's still under the bed.
Right, it's fine, don't worry. Right, May, let me just finish off, please, darling. So the reason it's constant is because it's like, you know, when you are overthinking and then a whole load of adrenaline is being pumped into your body through overthinking, and then you'll have physical symptoms, and your state of mind will often shift because you're fed up or you're tired from feeling that way all the time, and it gets into this vicious cycle because then you kind of asking yourself the questions, why me? When will this ever stop? What is wrong with me? And that in itself then is more anxious thinking, creating more anxious feelings. So the only way, in my experience, to really get to the point where it isn't constant like that is to understand how it all works, to start to accept where you're at, be okay with where you're at, as horrible as sometimes that might feel. And it's about not having as much resistance. So yeah, Lise, but you've been a great help. Hope you saw the spider. Thanks. So do I. Mate, you're just going to have to wait, tell him. We go and sleep in your own bed then.
I cannot sleep. No, is it?
How come some people get affected by anxiety and some don't? I don't believe anybody goes through their life without experiencing some level of anxiety. But maybe what you're talking about is, why do some people have debilitating anxiety where it really affects their life? It stops them doing things they want to do. Because actually, if I've talked about this before, but I'll just briefly explain now. If we all go into the verge of a panic attack every single day as a human being. So if I was sat somewhere and then all of a sudden, so like that spider coming then, and I saw it and I was startled, okay?
I still am.
Right, Maya still is. So I was startled, I was like, oh, there's a spider, and it jolted me. Now, I then very quickly, because I'm not massively afraid of spiders, didn't overthink it and start imagining that it's going to eat me alive or anything like that. So it settles once I realise what it is. When you see something scurrying, you wonder what it is. Or if I give you a different example, if the, you know, sometimes if you've left a door and a window open and then it's windy outside and then all of a sudden there's a big loud slam because the door slammed shut. Say that happened and it was, you know, late at night, or you were drifting off to sleep, you weren't quite aware, and hear this massive big loud bang, you would be completely startled to the point where you would be at the beginning of a panic attack, the beginning stage of a panic where you send your system into, it's like you're setting off your internal alarm and going, oh, there's danger, quick, what's that? Because you don't know what the noise is. However, as soon as I kind of realise, oh, it's the door slam because of the wind, and I know that it's safe and it's okay, my thinking about it falls away, I know what it is, and I carry on with whatever I'm doing. With a panic attack and with anxiety, what's happening is because of the unpredictability and the uncertainty, and because people have such a lack of understanding of how it works, is that they will go into that initial stage of fight or flight, but it continues because they're kind of like, why am I feeling like this? What does this mean? Why is my heart racing? Why do I feel dizzy? Why this? Why that? And that is then piling on layers and layers of thought, then creating more feelings, because every single one of those thoughts is then creating a feeling as a result of that thinking. So it's not really true that some people aren't affected by anxiety and some are. However, some of us get into a habitual cycle. You know, when I was really anxious, if somebody had asked me what I was anxious about for a long time, the only thing I was ever actually anxious about was getting anxious. Yeah, so that became a habitual cycle for me. The biggest fear was, what if I get anxious again? What if this time it's worse? It wasn't actually about anything specific. And loved ones and people around me would say things like, what is it? Is it this? Is it work? Is it this? Is it that? So I don't know. And it was a big deal. But what it was the fear of the unknown, not being in control, not being able to predict what was going to happen in the next 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 weeks, 5 years. And so if you believe that you are somebody that is affected more by it, then that means that you're just not seeing it the same way as others. But you're not, some of us are not born more susceptible to being anxious than others. It's habits that we form over time. But again, Cindy, as you are in the private group, if you want me to talk more about this, pop it on the comments for Thursday, because that's a really good question, and I can explore it even further for you.
The huge spiders still here.
So yeah, right. So I'm going to go now. get this little one to sleep. Try and find this ginormous spider that's crawled across the floor, which again, as I said a minute ago, cannot believe how big the spiders are getting these days.
It's literally as big as my hand.
It's really not quite that big.
My palm.
Hi, Jackie.
My palm.
It's nowhere near as big as your palm.
It is. It really is, though.
That is definitely your thoughts creating your feelings, then, because you have created something that's like bigger than a tarantula in your head, and it's actually not. It's pretty big, but it's not that big, Maya.
Put a picture of it on the group and then they'll know how big it is.
I'm not in the group, I'm on the main page.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Eric. So, right, we're going. If you're wondering why my 12-year-old is laid in this bed with me at this time, it's because... So, like we said at the beginning, didn't we? You booze, you lose in this house. Dad's out with work. It's on his way back. But if you have alcohol and the other one doesn't, as in me and my husband, you lose your spot. Maya, please. You lose your spot. So
Don't say Incy Wincy. It's not Incy Wincy. It's like...
It is a bit bigger than Incy
it's
Wincy,
crawling
Eric,
around
but it
his
is.
room right
It's
now.
actually pretty big, but it's not the size of a palm of a
I don't
hand.
even mind spiders, but I just the thought of knowing that's round.
But do you know what, though? You don't mind spiders because you've picked them up, you've put them outside. But that is another really good example of when we're tired, or our state of mind or consciousness awareness, whatever you want to call it, is slightly adjusted because we're tired, we see things differently.
Thoughts.
She's taking the mick now. But yeah, that's another really good example because actually, during the day, you're full of energy bounding about. You wouldn't be bothered about it, would you?
No.
Okay, let's have a look. I'm always mega anxious in the evenings. Look at what Cindy's put there. That spider.
Right, all of you.
I'm always mega anxious in the evenings. I can't chill and relax. I'm particularly bad when I'm on my own. I need to find a way of relaxing and chilling out without feeling like somebody's got hold of me by the throat. Yeah, it's a horrible symptom of anxiety, that when we are overthinking so much that it feels like our throat is almost constricted. What happens when we're anxious and in this habit that we're forming around anxious thinking, creating the anxious feelings, is we start to have stories about when we're good, when we're not good, what needs to be in place for us to be okay, etc., etc. And none of that's true. It's just stories that we create based on our thoughts, and then we start to look for reasons for it to be true. So every time it gets to the evening, you'll have a little thought, oh, it's getting late. Oh, I know, I get anxious in the evening. Then you'll start checking in. Am I anxious? Am I not? What do I need to do? Will I be okay? And then it escalates from there. So again, once you start to understand how these habits are formed, that you don't have to believe every thought that you have. And actually, I would put my life on it there, that there have been times in the evening when you have been not been anxious. And if it was the evening that made us anxious, then everybody would be anxious in the evening, or everyone that suffered anxiety would only be anxious in the evening, when in actual fact, a lot of people report feeling more anxious in the morning first thing than they do in the evening. So again, it's only ever the story that we create in our mind of how it works for us. So it's about letting go of some of that and being open-minded. I've popped a link in the comments. If you wanted to pre-order my book, might be a good place to start to learn some of it. I also have lots of other ways I work with people. If you did want to explore it, there's loads of stuff you can do. You can Google and have a look on YouTube. But please do, whether it's through me or not, please do explore it, because you don't want to be going on like that forever. It's not nice, it's not pleasant, and it's so sortable. Yeah, the more you understand that you are creating these experiences through your thinking, and that what you're telling yourself day in, day out is not true, it will just make life much, much easier.
Careful. There's a spider.
Oh, husband's back.
That big, Dad.
Are you drunk, or you?
Oh, sweet.
He's drunk. Oh, God. He has this childish... I won't put you on live, that's a bit cruel. He's drunk. Okay. He's a very pleasant drunk, though, aren't you? But you booze, you lose, so you're not in here tonight with Maya.
No. Me and you are in there.
Right, I'm going to go. Okay, thank you all so much for joining me, and
remember your thoughts.
hopefully we'll still be alive in the morning, and we've not been attacked by this ginormous spider. Thank you. Your workshop was helpful when we came last year. Oh, that's great. And yeah, so just keep exploring.
There it is.
If you're beginning to want to... Oh, Maya's put the spider. That is not the spider. She's just Googled that. I'm going to start doing, because if you came to the workshop last year, I'm assuming then you're quite local to me, and I'm going to start doing once a month, like a drop-in in a cafe now he's dancing across the room with, oh my God, where people can come and purchase my book or manuals and stuff like that and just ask questions. So have a look out for that as well. But thank you, that's really nice feedback. Okay, I'm going to go because now my husband's doing roly-polies on the floor. Oh, gee whiz. Honest to God. Jackie, help.
What's he gonna do next? He just did a front flip.
It's 9:45 now. He's come in tipsy, more than tipsy, and now he's just going to wake the dog, get the cat's hyper, the dog, the daughter. It's going to be a long night. Take care, everyone. Please come to Surrey. Who knows, one day maybe I could travel around. I'd love to. But it's hard to arrange events and workshops when it's not near where you live, because it's making sure I've got enough people to attend. Okay, right, I'm going to go and I will speak to you all later. Wish me luck. I'm going to flipping need it.
He literally came in, did a handstand, jumped, and did a forward roll.
Right, get to bed.
I need to find this spider.
Bye, guys. Can you press end on it for me? Bye for now.